Hi, supervisors. All right, so you have been in our EMAR module for a little over a full day. You guys are doing great. So I just want to show you a couple things as we kind of, move forward with this and what you can expect to see from Northern Pharmacy in this non-verified ordered sections. So I'm going to go into verify. There are some sitting in here. I just really want to look at my test guy though. So here, for example, we have a discontinue order for our Donald Duck guy. So whenever you see a discontinue order come through, or really any order, even if it's a new order, this NW stands for new order. I'm going to go over both of this. So a discontinue order, you want to ask yourself a couple questions. A, is that really supposed to be discontinued? Because if you don't have a discontinue order, before you go in here and select approve, you want to make sure that that medication should actually be discontinued. So if you didn't know about it, you might want to call Northern Farm. Actually, you don't just want to might call them. You want to call them or send them an email and say, hey, did you guys get this discontinue order from the doctor? Was this sent over through an e-script? If so, can you please send me this for my records, because I didn't know that this medication was supposed to be discontinued. And if they don't know what you're talking about, and for some weird reason, this got sent over in error, then obviously we don't want to approve it because it's going to discontinue that medication out of our medication list and off that EMAR. So instead, we want to reject it. Remember, you're doing all of this before any of this even hits your EMAR. So you can approve and reject discontinue orders as needed in here. It's not going to mess up your EMAR because it hasn't even hit your EMAR yet, okay? So sometimes what happens, and I'm going to give you the heads up for this and how we're going to handle this. If you send over new orders, so say you just got your 90-day PMOF signed, you send this over to Northern Pharmacy. What you are going to see is a whole bunch of discontinue orders come over, and then a whole bunch of what looks like new orders come over for all of those meds on that PMOF. Now, you know that nothing changed. You just got the 90-day PMOF signed. Nothing changed. We were just getting the updated signature and date on that. What's happening on Northern Pharmacy side and why we're seeing it this way is because Northern Pharmacy in the pharmacy world is essentially discontinuing that previous order because they fell under a certain RX number, and then sending you the new orders, even though they're still the same orders, still the same medication, still the same dose, still the same times that we give this. They're going to send that over under a new RX number. So I have been back and forth with Dimensional, and I am happy to announce that we don't need to worry about the RX numbers at this point. Hopefully never in the future will we have to worry about RX numbers. So this is what I'm going to tell you to do. If you send over updated orders to Northern Pharmacy, you know there's not a change, there was not a discontinue order on that, and then all of a sudden, maybe that same day or the next day, you see a whole bunch of discontinue orders and a whole bunch of new orders. You can reject all of those discontinue orders because you know that it doesn't matter. It's already sitting on my EMAR, and I don't want to have to go through the entire process of re-verifying that medication and checking those schedules and doing everything that I did to get us up and running with the EMAR. I can reject those discontinue orders, okay? And then if I get new orders and I know that those actually are not new orders, they're still the same meds, still the same dose, still the same times, this is just a new RX number, instead of verifying that, I meant to just highlight the RX, instead of verifying that order, you're going to remove it. That way it doesn't mess with your EMAR. That way all that work that you put into verifying those medications, making sure those schedules were set up, correcting anything that was misspelled or anything like that, you're not going to have to do that again unless there's an actual change to that medication. So say you did get a new order, maybe it was the same med, but now we get a new dose, or maybe it's the same med, but now we're going to give it twice a day instead of once a day. If that's the case, then yes, you do want to discontinue the old order and you want to verify the new order. But if nothing is changing and this is just updated orders, save yourself the hassle, reject the discontinue order and remove the new order, because you don't want to have to go through and re-verify all those medications, okay? So again, if you get a discontinue order in here, and you didn't know about it, and you don't see a new order that kind of matches up to that, so that you can kind of make sense of, oh, okay, so I sent a new an updated order, so I'm getting this discontinue order, and then I'm getting this new order with the different RX number. If you're not seeing that and you're just seeing a standalone discontinue order like this one, I don't have a new order for that sitting under there, and to my knowledge, that shouldn't be discontinued. I want to pick up the phone and call Northern Pharmacy and say, hey, did you guys get a discontinue order? Because if that's the case, I need that sent to me. And then once I have it, then I can go ahead, approve the discontinue, and it'll discontinue that medication out of my EMR. Okay. And then when you have new orders, again, what you want to do is you want to do your three-way check essentially. So if this is actually a new order, this is not some duplicate that Northern Pharmacy has sent over, because if it's a duplicate, again, we don't want a duplicate in our EMR. So if it's a duplicate, everything's still the same. We want to remove it. We don't want to verify it. Okay. So if you see a new order sitting under here and you're like, I knew nothing about a new order. You know, I didn't get an order from a doctor. I didn't know this. Again, pick up the phone, call Northern Pharmacy and say, hey, did you guys get an e-script from this doctor? Because I don't have this. So if you did, please make sure that you send me a copy of that and let me know when I can expect this medication to be delivered, okay? And then before you go in and verify, if it is really a new medication, you want to do your three-way check. So wait until that medication comes, look at the pharmacy label, look at your doctor's order, and then compare this information, because this information is what's going to go into your electronic MAR. So you don't want to verify anything that doesn't match the pharmacy label and the doctor's order. Instead, you kind of want it sitting there until everything gets worked out, and you can guarantee that my three-way check all matches up and my schedule's right and everything, and then you want to verify it. So you never want to verify anything that doesn't make sense to you. You never want to discontinue, never want to approve a discontinue if it doesn't make sense to you. So ask questions, pick up the phone, call Northern Pharmacy. Why did I get this discontinue order? Where's the order for this new order? I knew nothing about this. So that's really the only thing that you should have to do in this unverified section moving forward. Is if you get discontinue orders through here, then you approve them if they're actually correct, or you reject them if they're not correct, okay? If you get new orders in here, make sure that you have that new order. If you don't, make sure that you get that new order, and don't verify it until you can do your three-way check, okay? So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with us. Again, 90-day PMOS, for some of us, that's a lot of medications on that one 90-day PMOS. So if that's the case, and you know that doctor did not make any changes, I have the 90-day PMOS sitting in front of me, all the doctor did was sign off on this, then I'm not going to approve any of the discontinue orders that come through, and I'm not going to verify any of the so-called new orders that come through, because I don't want duplicates on my EMR. I just want to go ahead and remove them, okay? So I know that was a lot, and I hope that it's not too confusing. But I want to make this as easy for you guys as possible, and I don't want you to have to keep going through, and every time you send in updated orders or updated 90-day PMOS, for you to have to go through that whole verification process again. We were hoping that that's, you know, what we did before we went live, that was, you know, sort of a one-time thing, unless you get a new order, in which case you got to verify that. Okay. So again, that's kind of what you can expect to see. Again, please don't approve a discontinue order unless you know for sure that it should be discontinued, and please don't verify a new order if it already exists, because you don't want a duplicate order in there. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know that was a lot, and it's a little confusing because some of you probably haven't even seen this come through yet. So it might be something that, you know, until you actually do it, you don't fully understand it, but I just want to give you the heads up of what to expect. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.